Hi, welcome to Mission Healthy Living. My name is Beth Trapani, and this is a series of webisodes sponsored by the Pottstown Health and Wellness Foundation. This series is focusing on the health benefits of planting a garden. And today our guest is Gretchen Lea. And Gretchen, you are a Master Gardener. You have that certification from Penn State University. And how large is your farm that you have? Your piece of property, several acres?
Well, no, it started out as 20, but over the years we now have 80.
You now have 80, my goodness. So you have lots and lots of land to plant. Today we're going to be talking with you about how and why to plant organic. Everywhere you go, that's all you hear is organic, organic, and you know our nation has kind of shifted that way. And as you know, there's a list called the Dirty Dozen, which is the list that the Environmental Working Group puts out that says these are the 12 items of produce that if you're gonna ration your organic dollars, these are the ones that carry the most pesticide. They call it a pesticide load.
Right.
So those are the ones that you should really buy organic. But there's a really easy way to do it, and that's just grow your own. So why would someone want to grow organic when it comes to food? When it comes to food,
well, you're not ingesting chemicals. That would be the real reason. But the only thing, but what's sort of interesting about organic versus not organic is that when you're using the chemical fertilizers on your soil that have the nutrients that your plants need, these, in order to dissolve quickly and get the nutrients to the plant, there are a lot of salts and different things in this fertilizer. And then the fertilizer is really wrecking the structure of the soil. So if you're wrecking the structure of the soil, then it gets compacted. But if you put organic matter in it, like leaf compost or just compost, and use organic fertilizers, which are a slower release, that way the soil itself is getting more fertile.
So it's actually better for the environment, not just for your own.
You're working with nature.
Okay, great. So not just your own body.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of the pesticides and fungicides that they use, there is good bacteria, there is good fungicides, and the plants thrive on that. They have a relationship, the plant's roots have a relationship with the good bacteria and the good fungus. If you put something that kills the bad fungus and the bad bacteria, it's going to kill the good stuff too.
Okay. So. Okay. Give us an example how, you know, if somebody wants to try organic, they have a little garden at home, what are the kinds of things that they need to think about as they're preparing to do that?
Well, when you buy a pesticide or a fungicide, make sure it says organic. But organic does not mean safe, which I learned when I was taking some classes from Penn State. I just thought, well, if I get that neem oil all over me, big deal, it's organic. Yes, it's a concentrate, it's not meant for your skin. No, still put your gloves on.
Okay. And you have to be careful if you're working with children around that.
Yeah, I think that's why I really got into it. And I have a rose bed, and roses, you know, take sprays and things, but once I had children, I just did organic, and if they're not perfect, I don't care. I'm not going to do that for my children.
Do the organic pesticides work as well as the non-organic?
They do, but you have to apply them more often.
Okay. Okay. So a little bit extra work, but you feel like it's more worth it.
Yes, and I don't care about a bug so much. And then there's some plants you can read on your seed packets that are more resistant to bean mosaic mold. So you can grow things that are maybe resistant to some of the diseases and the pests that you might get in your area.
If somebody commits and says, okay, I do want to grow organic and this is the way I'm going to go, how would you recommend, what should they look at? What kinds of fruits or vegetables are going to work fairly well for them in an organic environment?
I'd say anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter. It's not, you know, like tomatoes, or everybody always jokes about, I planted one zucchini, now I have bread for, I have zucchini bread for the entire neighborhood. Is there anything that's difficult to grow with organic or not really?
Well, I'd say cost effective or labor. Rodale had, and they're known for their organic gardening magazine, they have apples, and they had a demonstration. To keep the bugs off them, you spray them with like a clay compound. Every time it rains, you have to spray it.
Yeah.
So the apples, we never did anything to our apples when the kids were little, and we just let them be naughty and everything, and we made applesauce. That was fine. But now that the kids are gone, we do have someone come spray them once or something, but they're still getting a few little naughties. But there's something I bought last year and forgot to put it up this year. It's for capturing the apple maggots, I guess. And it's this little plastic globe, and then you paint sticky stuff on and you hang it in the tree. So you can do things like that, but just don't care if your apple's absolutely perfect looking.
Okay, so that takes care of the pesticides. How about the actual soil? We had started talking about fertilizer and things. What do you need to look for? If I go to Home Depot or a gardening center, does it specifically have to say organic soil on the label? I would
make sure it's got a signia. Because you go to the supermarket, natural chicken, you know, pesticide-free chicken, organic chicken. What are you trying to tell me?
It's very confusing.
Those labels just make me paranoid, period. But Espoma, it's E-S-P-O-M-A, makes a whole series of fertilizers. Or if your soil's low in potassium, I forget there is something that you put in it that'll raise the potassium. There's 3 different things. This is in case people don't know about gardening. They need nitrogen, potassium, and phosphate.
The nutrients that a garden needs. Okay.
So sometimes if your garden's getting very, very leafy and no fruit, you have too much nitrogen. Okay. So you can get your soil tested. You can just send it down to Penn State Cooperative Extension, and they'll say you have too much of this, too much of that, put this in. But Espoma has a product that would take care of any of your needs.
Okay, but be sure that the soil itself, that the label says organic. If it doesn't say that.
You're not going to buy soil, are you, if you have a garden?
How about for a container garden or
then I would buy organic.
Okay, terrific. How easy is it to plant a garden? Is it hard? Is it difficult? I guess it can be as difficult as you want it to be.
It's hard to start it because you have to dig up and till the soil. But we have 2 plots, we alternate. So if all the zucchini got some kind of disease this year, which zucchini almost always does, then next year you flip it and do it here. This way you're not keeping the disease in the soil. But ours is so easy, we've been doing it years. So all I do is dig a little bit and put it in. If you're digging into your lawn, that is not good soil. So there, if you really wanted to start a garden, it'd be good to dig it in the fall. Put in a lot of leaf compost. Then test it in the spring. Just make sure that you have the nutrients in the soil. And if you need to put a little fertilizer in, put it in.
Okay.
But it's just basically the initial is the hard digging.
What if it's the spring and I forgot to dig it in the fall, or I just had the brilliant idea in the spring that I was going to start it?
Well, you could try. I mean, you might have half decent soil. You might want to buy compost.
Okay. To
put that in, or you could do raised beds. All you need is about 8 inches.
And how would you do a raised bed for somebody who isn't familiar with that?
You can just do a mound and mount it all on top. That's sort of sloppy. It would be really good to use cedar or black locust, a wood that doesn't rot very easily. And you would just sink 4 posts in the ground, nail up your boards, and then put all your soil on top of that.
So that would entail buying soil that you would bring in and do that.
Yeah, you buy good topsoil. And you can get mushroom soil.
If somebody said, it's time, I want to do a garden, but I'm not quite ready to get out the rototiller and do all that, what would you recommend would be the easiest thing to start with, the easiest crop?
Is it going to be a garden, or can we do pots?
Either one.
Well, it depends what you want to grow. I mean, some things like beans you want to grow a lot of, but you can do that in containers, and you can do pole beans. You could just have a long, thin container. It's about this deep, and you could put up a trellis and just do beans that way.
That's fun for kids. How about tomatoes if I wanted to grow
You can grow them in pots.
Anybody can do that.
There's some, though, that are bred for the pots.
Okay.
And they're getting better. You know, because you breed for different reasons.
If somebody has questions, obviously there's a lot of information online, but also just ask at your local garden center.
Right.
Great.
Right.
Okay.
And you can call Penn State Cooperative Extension.
Terrific.
Okay. They're in Collegeville.
Great. Okay. Gretchen, thank you so much. We appreciate your time and your expertise, and we hope everybody will consider planting a garden and do it organically. This is Mission Healthy Living, sponsored by the Pottstown Health and Wellness Foundation, and you can find us at missionhealthyliving.org.